Hey Liverpool fans, have you seen the latest release? At AnfieldIndex, we've teamed up with LiverpoolFC to announce that the brand new 24-25 LFC Nike home kit and anthem jacket are out now, and they're hotter than ever. The brand new kit pays homage to the legendary Rome 1984 side, featuring sleek pinstripe detailing that brings a touch of history to our modern game. Whether you're cheering from the Kop or watching from home, you'll feel the spirit of the Reds coursing through every stitch. The best part? You can grab yours today. The new kit and training range are available in official stores, online, and through the LFC store app. Don't wait, order now and be ready to show your Liverpool pride in style. Get your hands on the new 24-25 LFC home kit and anthem jacket today. Let's make this season unforgettable. You'll never walk alone.
I'm Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I'm Curtis Jones.
I am Cody Gakpo.
Putting on the Liverpool top for the first time, it was a dream come true and I'll never forget that moment.
The new LFC 24-25 season Nike home kit is out now.
Buy it today, along with our new goalkeeper kit and training range at your official LFC stores. Online at liverpoolfc.com/store and on the official LFC store app.
You will never walk alone.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our local financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to another special on AI Pro. That season's done and dusted, and we've got another special for you. Some more reviews on that season. It was an eventful one. Some more great voices coming your way. I'm joined by two excellent guests. They don't need an introduction. Going to give them one anyway. First up, it is the host of the Rival Recon podcast, the awesome Harry Sethi. Harry, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Yeah, how are we doing?
We're good. We're good. My bounce back's fine. I mean, I'll just be doing the hosting. It's you that's got to give all the answers. So you better have your A game. And joining Harry on this podcast, it is. I mean, like, well, how do I even introduce this guy? He's like the most nicest guy. Owner of Anfield Index. It's great to have him on podcast. I worked with him last week. It's Eddie Gibbs. Eddie, welcome to the show.
Hello, Nina. It's strange to be podcasting again with you so soon after probably about a year of sabbatical.
It's like the buses. I mean, like, it's so good to hear your voice. I mean, it'd be really great if Greg would do them as well. But it's cool. It's fine. It's great to have you on, Eddie. Right, guys. So let's get into this. Eddie, I'll stick with you. I'll come to you first. I mean, it has been, before I even get to the questions, I guess, a lot has happened this week. It happened. Jurgen Klopp left. A day later, Slot is announced. How are you just overall feeling as a Liverpool supporter? Where are you on the, on the scale of emotions?
I'm okay. I know that I've heard some people say they're still in denial and just want to focus on Klopp being around for another week. But I think because we've known in halfway through January or whenever it was, yeah. I think it's easier now. You know what I mean? It's like I know it's like they say that it's never the same until someone's gone, but I don't feel any different. I mean, it's not like we're playing a match next week or anything, you know what I mean? So it would be, obviously we had all that emotion and everything that came with Sunday with the farewell, but normally Klopp would be going on holiday just now and we wouldn't see him for 6 to 8 weeks, you know what I mean? So right now it doesn't feel any different. I think once we get to the first game of next season, or maybe the pre-season training, and the players convene for that with Slot in charge rather than Klopp, then maybe there'll be a bit of a delayed grief, if that's the right word. I don't think so, but something like that, you know what I mean? Maybe, but I don't think so. I think I can remove the emotion from these things, because normally with me, I'm really focused on the football. I don't like a lot of, which seems strange for someone that runs a podcast business, but I don't tend to get too caught up in the emotion of it all, because it's just, I think Klopp said it himself, football is the most important of the unimportant things, and that's always the way I've seen the game. So to me, all of the extracurricular stuff around Klopp leaving and all that is pretty much white noise, which seems a bit unsympathetic to the way that a lot of people are thinking. And certainly, I can't say that I didn't feel a bit emotional watching this speech, because I did. But once it was done, I was just back to normal and getting stuck into these podcasts and all the stuff that we do on Anfield Index.
I love it. He's a proper northerner. Let's get on with it, you know? And Harry, I'm going to come to you. I mean, it's been a week, hasn't it? And we've kind of spoke a little bit on social media and whatnot, on WhatsApp, and like how we're getting on. I've been fine. Everyone knows I've been fine. But I really like the fact that, you know, it was the worst kept secret in football. Klopp announced it as well. And
Sure.
It pretty much happened straight away. And I'm so glad we had a plan of action. We didn't dance around waiting for a manager. It's all just set in motion now. But where are you with all the emotions and how quickly everything was announced?
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to contrast from yourself and from Eddie. I don't know if people would know it from listening to me on these pods, and I'm pretty calm and collected on these pods. Maybe just I stand out in comparison to the like I'm off and on with Dave and Trev, and I think that's part of the dynamic that makes it good on those Raw shows, certainly. And but yeah, I don't know if anyone knows me like pretty well. I mean, I'm actually a surprisingly emotional guy, and yeah, it really got to me. I think I think back to what my reaction was when Klopp was appointed, really, and I think my reaction to that appointment was the majority of it was one of relief, to be honest. That this guy was coming in, and wasn't necessarily thinking about purely footballing success, but if you remember at that time, so much. Yeah. Back and forth between sort of, you know, the tensions around the manager and the hierarchy, and it's the toxic, feeling that isn't it? Yeah, toxic, right? And even the fan base, it was in a pretty toxic place, and feeling as though like everybody was not rowing, you know, in the same direction. And I think if I expected anything from him, I think that was the one thing, based on your shows, Nina, other people's shows, like giving me more insight into the man, because I didn't necessarily know loads about Klopp before he was appointed. That unity of purpose and direction was what I expected that he was going to be able, you know, he was going to be trying to deliver, you know, very early on with that speech about doubters to believers. And, you know, a lot of those themes came up in his very first press conference. So yeah, I quite enjoyed having him there as a figurehead, to be honest, in my life. It's kind of a strange thing to say at weird points. I think, yeah, without going into anything broad, I don't know, like more broad discussion. Let's face it, there's most leaders or people in positions of power in our lives set awful examples, yes. And you can't wait to see the back of them by the time they go. There's one who was just soaking wet on the steps of Downing Street, who looked like drowned mice or whatever earlier on, and he's leaving in the worst possible way. And I think. I think having somebody as the leader and the representative of a club that I know we all care so deeply about, and, you know, understanding that he was a good guy as well as an excellent football coach, I think was important to me. And even an empath in that role, super rare to have somebody in that kind of position with that kind of temperament and character and drive. So yeah, when it was announced, it was quite emotional this week. I think I got to the stage of saturation. So many clips, so much content that actually at one point I was like, okay, like it's fine. I'm gonna cry. It's fine. Like you've ensured it now. There's enough stuff here to push me over the edge. So I stopped watching after a while and favorited and bookmarked, and there's things to go back to, I suppose, at the appropriate time. And I think the one thing that tipped me the other way and probably pushed me more towards your direction, your stance and Eddie's stance, is the speech that Klopp gave on Sunday. To be honest, I think what a remarkable communicator he is. The way in which he was able to take that, what could easily have tipped over into really overly emotional affair, and use that energy and bottle it and say, okay, this is where it is, and funnel this into Arne Slot, who's coming, and take that very first day, go all in. And I think that's part of his legacy, right? I think if everything was to wither suddenly now that Klopp's left, then that sort of undermines the point of half the work he's done, right? So he got me back on message, with that speech. And now, I'm doing transfer committee podcasts. I'm back into it. I'm learning about Arne Slot's tactical desires and feelings, and whether he can dance as well as we've seen some of the Klopp moves this week. So I'm back on board.
Good to know. And listeners, we just want you to know, whatever you're feeling, it's perfectly fine. People deal with news in different ways, and it's absolutely fine, and I think that's really important to put out there, because you shouldn't look down at someone who's really emotional, and you shouldn't think somebody doesn't care if they've got a good bounce back. Everyone's different.
If Virgil van Dijk's in tears, I think we can all allow ourselves.
Exactly. If the Man Mountain, Virgil van Dijk, is in tears, then it's absolutely fine. And that's all I'm going to say. But this is football, I guess, and nothing lasts forever. Just be grateful that he was our manager, and we have that special bond. And I don't think he's going to go to another Premier League team, and no one will ever experience that. And that is, for me, a really smug feeling, because I got what I wanted. Right, Harry, I'm going to stick with you. So we've got the emotional side out of the way. I might come back to another Jurgen Klopp question in a minute, just to really, really push your emotions to every limit possible, because this season has been a roller coaster. So I'm going to take you on that journey in this podcast.
Do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to go off with the first question. What was your favourite match of the season? Which one was oh my God, that was it?
Yes, it was hard to. Well, I was going back to the fixtures, and obviously, with Rival Recon, at least every single Premier League game, and I do enough Raws to, I'm pretty dialed in. But when that question was asked to me, I was asking, what was my favorite? Going back into it, and I think there's some weird ones in there. I mean, it might surprise people to think that. I mean, actually, one of the games that really sticks in my memory more than others is the loss to Tottenham, and of course, there's the Diaz aspect of that with the VAR mess up, of course, and the red cards. But I think aspects of that game stick in my memory. I think the feelings of pride about just how well that team had played when down to that the 9 men in the end, right? So obviously it ends up with the tragic figure of Joel Matip having one of his existential moments. But I think weirdly that one lingers in my head. Probably not the nicest memory of all of them. I enjoyed Trent's celebration at the end at the Etihad, and that was pretty enjoyable the first time seeing him shush that crowd. Hopefully he could do a 1-1-5 celebration next time if we get the chance. The Chelsea game at home, it was one I was away whilst I watched that. I ended up watching it basically from midnight till about 2 a.m. based upon where I was. And great atmosphere, and seeing Conor Bradley score that goal. And I think it was one of our more complete, thorough performances, against a very poor Chelsea side, especially at that point in the season. But at that point, everything's still possible. I think that was the game maybe directly after the announcement from Klopp that
I think it was Harry Bardi mentioned that it was directly. Yeah.
So I think having that emotional hit and then seeing the club respond in that sort of emphatic way was okay, great. We're going to use this energy as a catalyst for the season, and what better catalyst could there be than trying to do it for him? But if someone really had to put me on the spot, I think I'm going to go with the trophy. I'm going to go with that Chelsea Liverpool Carabao Cup final.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
I think, lots of great moments, great goals this season and late winners. And I think about Nottingham Forest as well. That was enjoyable. But I think, that game, just seeing the way in which all those youngsters end up on the pitch and, not the greatest team available to be selected that day, so many stars missing. And the way in which the team pulled through, dragged themselves to almost penalties, were denied a goal, I think, like pretty harshly. And then, one of the few adults on the pitch in the end is getting mobbed by like a handful of teenagers after he gets the winner with that late Van Dijk goal. And I think, again, at that point, everything's still possible, right? At that point, and you begin to dream about, okay, is this going to be the fairy tale ending? Going to get all those trophies? Klopp's going to go out on a special high moment. So I think for me, probably I'll remember that Chelsea game for a while, just because of the unique circumstances of it.
I'm Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I'm Curtis Jones.
I am Cody Gakpo.
Putting on the Liverpool top for the first time, it was a dream come true, and I'll never forget that moment.
The new LFC 24-25 season Nike home kit is out now.
Buy it today, along with our new goalkeeper kit and training range at your official LFC stores. Online at liverpoolfc.com/store and on the official LFC store app.
You will never walk alone.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is supported by FX's Clipped, the scandalous story of the 2014 Clippers owner's racist remarks captured on tape and heard around the world. The series charts the tape's impact on a dysfunctional basketball organization striving to win against their reputation as the most cursed team in the league. Starring Lawrence Fishburne, Jackie Weaver, Cleopatra Coleman, and Ed O'Neill. FX's Clipped, streaming June 4th, only on Hulu.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you almost took me down very, very dark path when you were talking about the Spurs game. But then you were talking about the attitude, and I agree. When I actually think back to that game, like they were literally hanging
heroes,
on for dear life. And I think, you know what, Jurgen Klopp has certainly rubbed off on you, because that is a very Jurgen Klopp kind of answer. I mean, Eddie, I'm going to come to you for your best match. I feel like the Chelsea games have been very, very popular amongst the contributors on AI. Have you got anything different, or are you going the same way?
Just one correction on the first game after Klopp made his announcement was Norwich in the FA Cup.
It was. Yeah, his best man was the manager, and I remember. Yes.
The
first Premier League game, anyway. There we go.
It was.
We're kind of right.
Yeah, I was traveling. I was flying to Lanzarote that night, and I managed to get to the hotel just in time. So it was a kickoff for that one, and I didn't miss the early goals. But I watch obviously pretty much every game, which I have to for work as well as pleasure. But it's for me, I'm going to go with two of the games that I was at, because they just have so much more credence to them rather than watching on the TV, and it reminds us what it's like. What it's like to be a fan. So the first one that I went to actually this season was in the travelling Kop at Newcastle away, and by the time you get up all those stairs and you sit and watch sort of 70 minutes thinking you're on the way to a defeat, and then you get a man sent off, and it puts you in doom and gloom. You're thinking, why did I even bother travelling to this? And then lo and behold, Darwin Núñez comes on and does that. You know what I mean? It was quite something what happened there, and the celebrations after Will Live With Me Forever, walking down all of those stairs and the noise. It was like an echo chamber with all the songs being sung by the fans all the way down from those heights. So that one in particular, and another one that I was at was the back to a Chelsea game again, but that League Cup final. You never get bored of going to finals, and I really enjoyed my day down there with Ben Pescod, Guy Drinkle, Greg Hopcroft, Harinder, few others that we saw there, and it was really good fun. Dave Davis and the guys from the Edinburgh guys as well. We got to see all of them, and it was an incredible day. And they're the sort of days that remind you what it's like to be a real fan, if you like, to not just. And I'm not disparaging anyone that can't get to games, obviously, but it's we're very fortunate that we're in a position to go to games, and that's one of the real joys of it. But it reminds you of being a child again and why you got into going to football and enjoying football in the first place. So those two games in particular, I can't really divide them because they're both great for different reasons. And the rendition of Allez, Allez, Allez during that cup final was that will live with me. That'll live with me forever. It'll live with me forever because it absolutely lifted. Those lads had come on and the senior players had gone off, and those lads, you wondered what that would do to them, and the reaction was just absolutely incredible. And to really feel part of the result and what happened was just truly memorable. And that will definitely, they're two games I think that will live with me for a long time for different reasons.
The superpower of world football, isn't it? As Klopp talked about, it was remarkable. Yeah, Nina, just like come back in on, like, I remembered actually Eddie got me thinking. Yeah, of course, went to a few games this season, and another weird example, right? It was I ended up going to the Luton game at home, and I was taking my mum, taking my dad, and my mum's not been to a game before actually, so it was a nice experience. And then to see the team sheets and go, oh right, okay, we're not going to see any of the stars or whatever, and seeing such a heavily rotated lineup at that stage, really were running on fumes, and they'll go 1-0 down. It's pretty demoralized at half time, and then to see the way in which we roared back that night, and again had to mention the atmosphere, just one of the atmospheres of the season. And I've been told by those who go much more regularly than me that it was weirdly one of the greatest atmospheres they'd seen this season. So, and I think it's touching on what Eddie's saying, right? It's that same thing, that collective spirit.
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. The podcasts are my own two-footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m, Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. He presents A Tad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin DeVries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
To be able to see the way in which the fans have been able to drag this team to some of those moments. So yeah, weirdly, that Luton 4-1 is probably going to stick in my mind as well.
The $1 million question for you now, Harry, is your mum a Red?
Oh yeah. There's no question.
Job done. Yeah.
I used to not allow her to watch the game with me because we always used to concede, but she did watch a lot of Hodgson games. So.
Oh bless her. That's enough to put anyone off football. I used to do anything.
I was like, get out the room.
Yeah. Those were dark times, right, guys? Eddie, I'm going to come to you now because I'm going to put you on a bit of a downer. What was like, there were some bad games, and I really thought about this as well. For you, which one stands out for you as like the worst game where, you know, it was just pretty much soul destroying? I mean, there have been a few, certainly towards the latter end of the season.
The most angry one was the one that Harry mentioned, the one at Spurs. That was particularly horrific. I was just so angry at what happened there. But all through the season, I never expected Liverpool to win the league. I just didn't. And it was too primitive, if you like. The team was still in this first phase of redevelopment. So I never thought Liverpool were going to win the league. And the game that disappointed me the most was the one away at Arsenal in the league, because I just don't think Liverpool showed up that day, and that's not something that we can say about these players too often. I know the mistake happened, but Liverpool were outplayed in that game, and we had high hopes, obviously, from the FA Cup, from beating them away. And then we showed up at the league game, and we didn't show up. And I thought it was a really poor performance all round, and it almost set that realization that to me, at that point, I actually realised, I think, that there wasn't going to be a miracle. There wasn't going to be a title charge. And I think that game was solidified that for me. Now, I know, obviously, Liverpool were in the title race and they were top of the league for a lot longer than that. But that was where it kind of realisation of my doubts that this team weren't going to be in the mix-up when it came right to the end. And I thought it was a really disappointing performance. And it was where, I suppose, everyone thought, oh, Klopp's made this announcement and this is going to roll the team on to this quadruple and this big success. And I remember a lot of Harry's pods, he was very nervous or certainly reticent to mention the word quadruple. And I could understand totally why, because you just never saw it as being realistic. And I never thought, as I say, that we were in the shake-up for the league. And that Arsenal performance very much solidified that for me. And I thought these players, it doesn't matter if Klopp's going, these players don't have the capability to win this league. And that Arsenal performance is the one that made sure that I believed that. And I remember being massively disappointed that night.
That's a really good shout. And I often forget about that game as well. And I do actually remember the era, the mix-up between Ali and Virgil van Dijk, wasn't it? It was that one. Yeah.
Yeah. They're total mess up in the defence. Yeah. And we'd been handed a lifeline to get back into the game just before half-time as well.
Yeah, we did. Yes. It feels like an age away. I mean, Harry, I'm going to come to you. Which one was your deep, dark moment of the season?
Yeah, those who listen to me, especially on the Raw, I think where I reveal it a little bit more is obviously I grew up in North London, support Liverpool because of my dad and his lifelong sort of allegiance to the club. But yeah, for me, I mean, Arsenal's success is an irritation. There's some family WhatsApp groups that get particularly noisy. Got a bit too noisy this season. Very quiet now. Have been quiet for a while, I have to say. But I do look at those fixtures whenever they come around, and certain Arsenal supporting members of my family, weirdly graceless about Liverpool's success over the past few years. I don't know why necessarily. It's not like that burning rivalry there between the two sides, but very graceless about it. And so now that they're on the up, a lot more vocal, and I always want us to win those games. So it was definitely a disappointing game to have lost in the way in which we did. And actually kind of weird, after that game, Eddie mentions that, I think we ended up winning like 8 of the next 9 games in a row. It was just like, so you immediately, you fall off the train, but you get straight back on the train in terms of like, how are we going to go all the way? The ones for me, I have to say, I can't narrow it down to one game just because all of these ones annoy me equally, I have to say. They really do. Just every single time Liverpool didn't beat Manchester United this season are the worst games for me. Obviously the historical rivalry, but they're crap. There's an awful, generationally awful iteration of Man United, and to see them get other teams wipe the floor with them week in, week out, them conceding 20 shots on goal on a regular basis. I think I can't remember if it's Josh Williams, I think, distance covered, started just like this trend in the season where it's like, okay, every time they concede over 20, I'm gonna keep this thread going, and it just kept going throughout the season. A really, really poor side and some really unlikable figures in the squad as well. And to not beat them and to contrive to lose or to draw. Obviously, the FA Cup one. I was really angry after that game. Not because I really want to necessarily win the FA Cup, but just I thought the manner of the defeat and how we let it slip through our fingers was dreadful. And to follow it up by going back there only a few weeks later and just missing chance after chance after chance. I think that for me was the worst game of the season, probably that United away game in the Premier League, just because they're so poor. They're such a poor side, and to not punish them, take the easy 3 points, and keep the what difference could that have made in the end? I'm similar to Eddie. Didn't probably expect Liverpool to win the league at the start of the season, but you're leaving points like that on the table. That's gonna stay with me.
Yeah, I had the United games down as well, myself and Guy, and I went for the FA Cup game because for me that was the start of our wobble. And I thought, we've got an international break, we might come back from that. And it just pretty much carried on. And it was like during Ramadan, it wrecked my fast. I was meant to go for a mindful walk. It just ruined everything for me. The Atlanta game as well. I didn't watch the home game because it was Eid celebrations. But the away performance for me was also, like, I didn't mention it on the pod, but that really triggered me as well because we got the early goal and we just turned really casual.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
A lot of it was down to Klopp and the tactics and everything that he did. You have to put some blame there, and a big portion of it does go on him. But yeah, I was not expecting that kind of response from Liverpool in Europe. They just looked like a wounded, beaten animal, and that is so out of character for what I'm used to with Liverpool in Europe.
I think the FA Cup one against United, I think Cy Brandish has been on record a number of times in terms of he just thinks that the belief was really important for this group. And whilst Eddie might have given up after, or aspirations of the title after that Arsenal game, I do sort of buy into Cy's theory actually that once the FA Cup defeat happened, the team sort of started to lose belief, because the bubble was burst on, I don't know, this dream entered the season. And I think the manner of that defeat, I mean, Klopp's mentioned it, hasn't he, a bunch of times, that that was the game that he thinks had a real emotional toll.
Yeah. And like it was he pretty much had a strong starting team as well, and it just felt like a bit of a waste. But yeah, that's where I was. Right, Harry, I'm gonna stick with you. I mean,
Sure.
Jurgen Klopp. I mean, what was your initial reaction to that? It was announced on a Friday. I remember, Ed, I take a detox on social media on Friday. It's my personal day, and a tweet comes up, and it's from AnfieldIndex, and it says, breaking, Jurgen Klopp to leave Liverpool at the end of the season. Like, when did we become clickbait? What is this nonsense? And then I saw the news, and I was mortified. I was in shock. I just couldn't believe what I was reading, but I was expecting it. But it's one of those moments for Liverpool supporters now where anyone will tell you where they were when Michael Jackson died. Where were you, and what were you doing when you heard the news that Jurgen Klopp is going to leave Liverpool, and how did you react to it?
Yeah, I was working, and I was chatting to some friends on WhatsApp about something. I felt like something good happened that day. I gotten promoted at work, like probably the day before, and I found out that day.
Okay.
I was just telling my mates, I got the promotion at work, and then well done, etc. I was like, yeah, I really grinded for this, and then let's see that, like, I still had push notifications enabled for Paul Joyce tweets, right? And saw it come up, and I was like, wait, no, it's got to be the underscore Paul Joyce, or like some sort of fake Paul Joyce account, right? It can't be. And I saw the news. And I was like, you just can't have nice things. So I'm just trying to enjoy the glow of this like good personal milestone. And I remember I was in the chat with my friends, and I remember I just messaged, they all congratulating me about this thing. And I was like, yeah, but Jurgen Klopp's leaving. And they went, what? I was like, yeah, he's leaving. And then immediately some of the messages pour in, like, oh, mate, are you okay? Like, and these are from United fans, other people that, that they know, what impact that would have. So, it was that. I probably remember that for a while, actually. And I think you watch that interview that comes out, it was like a good 20 solid minutes where he, I think that was good. I think it's good that that was the strategy was released. I think he if there was to be a vacuum left after that decision, and you're wondering what it is, then you start, the conspiracy theories start to whirl. So the fact that he was able to take the time, articulate his reasons, and I think for those who may have doubted it, at the time, like, does he really think this is FSG? All this stuff that was debated, right? I think by the time we got to the end of the season, by the time we got to Sunday, and you see him there, and you see a man who's, at peace with that decision, pretty content with it, and pretty, I don't know, it seemed really free, it seemed like quite, he's about to go off on this adventure and live a bit more of a normal life. And I think that, when you see that, you go, okay, he wasn't telling us lies there. I think he genuinely, the tank is running empty. So that's my initial reaction. Very upset, of course. You want it to go on forever. I think you always deal with these kind of figures, and I've already spoken about, I think, what he sort of meant, what he means to us and to me. And I think also I was just very happy that there was no underlying, bad reason behind it, right? Any health issue or concern that was forcing him to step away. You think about Gerard Houllier and everything there. So once that was out of the way, it took me a bit of time to go, no, you can't. Your tank can't run empty. That's not right. I had a bit of anger, Nina, about this is because you've taken on too much responsibility. You've broken the structure. This is your fault. I blamed him for a little bit. But then, I think to Eddie's point, the fact that it was announced so early, you start to hope, okay, this is going to be that antidote, that special sort of elixir the team can take to, ride the wave. So I probably ended up a bit more hopeful.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from AnfieldIndex here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At AnfieldIndex, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of one cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
I'm Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I'm Curtis Jones.
I am Cody Gakpo.
Putting on the Liverpool top for the first time, it was a dream come true, and I'll never forget that moment.
The new LFC 24-25 season Nike home kit is out now.
Buy it today, along with our new goalkeeper kit and training range at your official LFC stores. Online at LiverpoolFC.com/store and on the official LFC store app.
You will never walk alone.